Welcome to my video. Today I am solving a Python crash course exercise and recording it for future purpose. Please watch along if you find it interesting. So the first question is, what is 7 to the power of 4? Well, 7 to the power of 4, that is simple, it's 2401. Next up, I have to split this string into a list. So let's copy this, run this, and the way to split is to use the split method. Next question is, given this variable, we have to use dot format method to print the following string. Let's copy the string once again. Let's run this variable. Now there are two variables which we have to replace using the dot format method. So we will use variables a and b here. Put this as a string. Use dot format. A is equal to planet. So a will go in here. That is planet, which is equal to Earth. And b is equal to diameter. Now print this entire thing. For this one, for this given list, we have to grab the word hello. So let's start by grabbing this word hello is a list. It's the only element within this list, which is an element within this list, which is further an element within this list, which is one of the elements within this outermost list. So let's start by indexing this list, which is 1, 2, 3. Third element is this small list. Fourth is this larger list, and then 5, 6. So in total there are 6 elements within this list, and this list, our target list, is the fourth element, which is at index 3, as indexing starts from 0. So we have to run this first. Now the word hello is within this second element, which is at index 1. Given this nested dictionary, grab the word hello. Be prepared, this will be annoying / tricky. Okay, so let's start. Within this list, there is only one key value pair. Key is k1 and the value is this entire list. So by pulling the value of k1, we get this list, the fourth element of which is a dictionary, which contains uh, our word which we have to grab hello. Fourth element is at index 3. Always one less than the position. Indexing is always one less than the position. We got our word hello. what is the main difference between a tuple and a list? Well, a tuple is immutable. That means we cannot make any changes to the tuple. We cannot add any extra elements, or we cannot append or pop any of the elements from a tuple. Next up, we have to create a function that grabs the email website domain from the string in the form this. So if there is an email ID which says user@domain.com, we have to grab the website, that is the domain.com. Let's start by defining the function. Naming the function, we will use the same name, domain get. Pass in a parameter and then return the function. So here what we will do is we will split this email ID using @symbol and then grab the first word after the @symbol. Okay, we have to put this as a string. Next up, we have to create a function that returns true if the word dog is contained in the input string, like this. We have to create a function with the name findDog and we will pass in a string. If the word dog is within that string, it will return true. So let's start by defining the function, naming the function findDog, pass in the parameter and then return. So what we need to do here is we will split the string into a list and then test for the word dog in this list. But we also have to account for capitalization. So we will make sure all of these, we will have to convert all of these words into smaller letter or bigger, but everything has to be same. So what we can do here is let's take parent and then use the lower method to turn everything into smaller case, then split it with the white space that will return a list. Now in this list, what we need to check is this string dog in this param that lower dot split. This thing will return a list, and if the word dog is in that, this entire thing will return a boolean that is true. If it's not there, it will return false. So let's run this and check this. Is there a dog here? True. Next is to create a function that counts the number of times the word dog occurs in the string. So unlike the previous question where we just have to check if the word dog was within the string, this time we have to count how many times dog is there. So there are a couple of ways we could do this. One is to create a list or create a variable with output as 0 and then check for each word within the list, and every time the word dog comes up we could increase the variable by 1, Or else the simpler method is to use the count method, which can automatically return the number of times that word occurs within the list. So let's start by defining the function. Define count dog for this parameter, return. Now we need to convert the string into a list. So we will start by turning everything into lowercase, then split at the white spaces. This will return a list. Now what we will do is use the count method, and we will count for the word dog in a smaller case. So what this lower will do here is, if there was a word dog starting with capital D, it would not have counted that, as we are searching just for small dog. By turning everything into lowercase, now all of the words will be counted. Now let's check this. This dog runs faster than the other dog too. Yeah, we got our answer too. So what this function did is, it took this string, converted everything into a smaller case. So this capital T turned into a smaller t. Then it splitted this entire string into a list. I will show you. Let's say this is the variable. Now let's use the lower method. This turns everything into smaller case. Then split this into a list. See all of the words. See again. This was a string, and when I convert this to split, I will do it here. All of these words converted into individual elements of the list. Now, when we use count, we have to, this takes exactly one argument. We need to input exactly what we are looking for. What element is are we looking to count? And that is dog. It returns two. So this function in a single line is essentially doing these 3 lines of code. Next up, we have to use a lambda expression and filter function to filter out words from a list that don't start with the letter S. For example, this is the sequence should be filtered down to this. So basically we have to check the first letter of each word. If it starts with S, we have to retain it, and if it starts with anything but S, we will have to drop it. A simple filter function will do that. Let's run this sequence. Filter. So within the filter, we have to use a function and then the iterable, which is this sequence. For the function, we will use the lambda expression. Lambda word, check for this word if the, so this is essentially going like a for function. It will check for the first element, for the second element, third, fourth, and fifth. So take this word. Word is just a variable here. The name of the variable is word. It's just a temporary variable. So take this word and take the first position, first letter of that word, which is at index 0. This should be equal to s. And now pass the iterable, which is seq. So what this will do is, it will, when I press enter, it will show that Python has created a filter at this location. To see the result, we need to pass this into a list. So we get our words which are starting with the letter S. We could also make a filter a list with start with the word which does not start with S in the same way. List of filter lambda word word of first index 0 is not equal to S, and then seq the variable, the list where it has to check. This equal to checks for equality, and this exclamation mark equal to checks for not equal to. And we get the list which doesn't contain the words starting with the letter S. Now for this problem, please read through the question mark. You are driving a little too fast and a police officer stops you. Write a function to return one of the three possible results: no ticket, small ticket, or big ticket. If your speed is 60 or less, the ticket is no ticket. If the speed is between 61 and 80 inclusive, the result is small ticket. If the speed is 81 or more, the result is big ticket. Unless it is your birthday, encoded as a boolean value in the parameters of the function. On your birthday, your speed can be 5 higher in all cases. So let's start here. Uh, See this function pass here. This is used to, if you define a function but don't want to do anything right now, you can just use pass. So when someone calls this function, it won't return anything. We will remove this pass and define it with return. So see here, what we have, one is a simple, the first step is a simple no ticket, small ticket, big ticket issue. If the speed is 60 or less, the driver won't be getting any ticket. If it is between 60 and 80, he would be getting a small ticket, and if it is greater than 80, 81 or more, he would be getting a big ticket. This is a simple if function, but there is a little bit more complexity. The driver, if it is driver's birthday, then he could be 5 higher. So we will define another variable here. If his birthday, because this thing would be encoded as a boolean value in the function, you would have to pass if the birthday is there. If it is true, you would have to pass true, otherwise you will input false. So by using if function, we are defining if this is true, then whatever we pass in here will occur, otherwise it won't occur. So what we will do is, if this is true, we will make another variable speeding, which is equal to speed minus 5. As the speed would be 5 greater, so the equality with on the days with no birthday would be 5 higher. And speeding is equal to speed. Now whatever speed is inputted, whatever speed is input within this function, if it is birthday, it would be decreased by 5 and pass into this variable. If it's not his birthday, the speed would be passed into the variable as it is. If speeding is greater than 80, return big ticket. Else if speeding is greater than 60. So what it will check here is, if that speeding is greater than 80, remember we have already accounted for birthday. So if it was his birthday and the speed was 86, then it will come down to 81, which would be greater than 80. But if he was driving only at, let's say, 83, then with 5 it will turn into 78 by subtracting this 5. So this step won't pass. It won't. This thing won't be true here. This will be false. So it won't run. It won't return this big ticket. Return small ticket. Else return no ticket. So this is our function. Let's check for different speeds and birthday. The two options we are given here are with 81 true and false. So if it's 81 and it's his birthday, then speeding will come down to 76, which would be a small ticket. So let's check for that. When it wasn't his birthday, 81 qualifies for big ticket. Let's check for some other speed and birthdays. Let's turn it to a small ticket. 78 would always be a small ticket. Let's check for 63 true. That is no ticket. 63 false, small ticket. And for 60 or lower, it will always be no ticket. Alright, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.